Hey guys, it's me, David Jackson Jr. You know, my dad was one of the most influential people in my life. In fact, I probably shouldn't say one of the, he is the most influential person in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've known a lot of impressive people politicians, sports figures, even royalty here and there. I've been blessed to meet and have interactions with a wide diversity of people. But nobody meant more to me, or no one taught me as much as my dad. And I don't mean that in a father knows best kind of way. My dad was a taskmaster. In fact, he put the T in taskmaster. He was what the kids today would call old school. When I was a kid, I didn't get to spend my weekends running around and playing and riding bicycles. I spent my weekends working with my dad. My dad had an automotive business, so we changed tires, we did automotive work, things like that. It was dirty, grungy work. And so for a kid, it wasn't necessarily the most pleasant thing to do. And beyond that, he also had guard dogs in his business. And the very first task that I was assigned to take every day was to clean up the poop behind the dogs every morning when we opened the company. Hated that job. So one day, my dad decided that he was going to give me an option as to what I was going to do that day. So he had a friend by the name of Armstrong. And Armstrong was, let's just say, an entrepreneur of all trades. That's a kind way of saying he was a jack of all trades and master of none. But he was quite enterprising. He made a good deal of money and he did all kinds of stuff. So one day my dad said to me, I'm going to give you a choice today. Do you want to stay here and work at the automotive shop all day? Or would you like to go to Bakersfield and pick up some watermelons with Armstrong? So I pondered it for a minute and I said, well, and for those of you who might not know the geography, Bakersfield is a small town, well, at that time it was a small town, that's a couple of hours away from Los Angeles that was mostly agricultural. So I thought to myself, in the couple of hours that it takes to drive to Bakersfield, in the couple of hours that it takes to drive back, I'll inevitably be able to get a lot of rest, and I won't have to work too hard, I won't have to do too much. And so I quickly chimed up to my dad and I said, I'll go to Bakersfield and pick up watermelons with Armstrong. He said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So away we went. Got in Armstrong's truck, headed to Bakersfield. Now the vision that I had in my mind is that we were going to get to Bakersfield, there was going to be this neatly stacked pyramid of watermelons, and we were going to pick them up one by one and load them onto the truck. Now, remember, what my father said to me was, would you like to go to Bakersfield with Armstrong to pick up some watermelons? The part that I didn't quite hear was pick up. Because once we got to Bakersfield, what I found out is we weren't going to be unloading the watermelons from a neat pyramid stack. We were going to actually be going out into the field with pocket knives and cutting the watermelons off of the cord. Needless to say, it was a hard day's work and it was much more than I expected. And in retrospect, I'd have been much better off spending my day at the automotive shop. But my dad knew that when he gave me the option. He knew that I wasn't listening carefully, and he knew that I thought that I was shortchanging him, and more importantly, shortchanging myself by choosing the option that I thought was going to be the lesser task. That's why my dad was one of the smartest men I've ever known, because he was certainly smarter than I was. After about 6 hours in the hot sun, picking up watermelons to drive back from Bakersfield to Los Angeles, I had a much greater respect for how hard people work in farming communities, and B, a much keener sense of paying attention to what people say. And that lesson about learning to listen to what people say turned out to be a very important lesson to me. Because, as most of you know, I'm an international management consultant, and I've spent time in more than 60 countries around the world. And one of the qualities that's made me more successful than anything else is my ability to listen carefully. There's a saying, the big print giveth, the small print taketh away. There's another saying, the devil is in the details. Well, they're all different verbal manifestations of the lesson that my father taught me quite tangibly that hot summer day in Bakersfield. Why do I mention this to you? Because inevitably, this has implication for any number of things that you do in your daily life, whether interacting with peers or coworkers, whether trying to attract customers, whether talking to family members. Listening to what people say, or something that's commonly referred to as active listening, is very, very important. I'm reminded of the old saying, there's a reason we have two ears and one mouth. And for people who like to talk like me, that's a lesson that I have to think about quite frequently. Pay attention. If you want to know how to sell a prospect, let him tell you what he needs. Don't wait and don't project onto him what you think he wants or what you think he needs, because if you listen to him or her long enough, they'll tell you. Even if you want to have a good relationship with your kids, I tell people all the time, your kids have to feel comfortable talking to you. They have to feel like you're going to listen to what they have to say. Not that because you don't like what they're saying, you jump on it from the second that they say it. You want to listen carefully, and then you want to embrace the fact that you've developed the type of trust with them that allows them to confide in you. Very few things in business or in life will serve you as well as learning and practicing the skills of paying attention to detail. It'll save you a lot of trouble, and it might just keep you a lot cooler in those summer days spent in Bakersfield. Thanks.